We need secure connectivity back to our apps. And the application that's continuing to be used more and more and more by enterprise customers to access that corporate data is Chrome browser. So as applications move further into Google Cloud and cloud type architectures and SaaS type architectures, the browser and browser security just becomes increasingly important today.
Well, good afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you happen to be. I am Rocky Giglio, and you are listening to another episode of Cloud and Clear, SADA's Cloud Transformation Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like us and tune in for the next episode. On today with me, I'm excited to have this special guest, is Aaron Hicks. He is the Senior Partner Success Engineer at Google. And specifically, you've been working with us on Chrome Enterprise Premium. So Aaron, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rocky. Happy to be here. First time caller, long time listener of Cloud and Clear. So thanks for having us.
Why is this so critical, and why is what Google's doing in this space so meaningful right now?
For so many reasons. I think we just as people and humans, we're doing so much of our work remotely, in the field, in offices. The idea of going and working every day in the four walls of an office, well, it's amazing and wonderful. We're starting to move again. We're starting to get out in the field. We're starting to see things out there. And with that, we need connectivity to our apps. We need secure connectivity back to our apps. And the application that's continuing to be used more and more and more by enterprise customers to access that corporate data is Chrome browser. So as applications move further into Google Cloud and cloud type architectures and SaaS type architectures, the browser and browser security just becomes increasingly important today.
I think the statistics I looked up before a presentation I did here at Google Next, it's still like over 80% or close to 90% of all browser activity is on Chrome, and that's mobile devices, desktops, laptops. So it doesn't really matter if you're browsing the internet. Most of that traffic is going through the Chrome browser, which is super interesting just to think about what that potentially means from a security perspective, right? If we can layer security in there where people are doing their work, well, what a great solution. And that's kind of what you guys have been doing. So yeah, tell us a little bit about, just kind of give the overview, like Chrome Enterprise Premium. If someone's tuning in, they don't know what that is, just maybe start there, and then we can dig into some of what's changing.
Yeah, well, we talked about access and just the nature of work and where and how people work today. What that has created is just a model where traditional security type solutions just don't quite fit. They were built for technologies that are on a LAN. They've extended out with technologies like VPN and those kinds of solutions, but we've become a lot more accustomed to logging into our checking accounts, for instance, logging into financial systems in our own personal lives. And as we've done that type of technology, whether it be TLS or any other of the encryption algorithms that protect the internet, are now and have always been available to enterprise customers. So as we build out that functionality in Chrome browser, and with Chrome Enterprise Premium now take additional security features and allow organizations to start to tailor those security features to meet their business needs, those more legacy type enterprise security tools are becoming less and less critical for the mobile workforce. And Chrome Enterprise Premium, with solutions like being able to enforce different levels of encryption on certain sites, being able to do things like watermark your applications, those types of feature sets that have traditionally not been available on a desktop feature, with Chrome Enterprise Premium are now available to everyone on all devices that run Chrome browser, managed by Chrome Enterprise Premium. It's available to them.
Yeah, and that's kind of the core of what Chrome Enterprise Premium brings. And it's really, you said it, like everything we do today, just think about your work day. Most of what we're using is in a browser somewhere, right? Whether it's our Salesforce tooling or our Google Cloud platforms or Workspace or Microsoft 365 or Workday, or you name it, the list goes on and on and on for all these tools that we all use every day, all day long. Every single one of them runs in the browser. And more organizations are pushing them to the browser, right? It used to be, download our fat client and install it on your machine and do it that way. But web just makes it so much easier to maintain an application as well, right? Think about things like progressive web apps and all of that, right? You now have this option to build something that you know is going to run, and you can test it in the most common browser. Now you've handled all your platform issues, and then build on that. And so we're seeing that happen in your, the day to day, the apps that we use every day. And so that means, I don't know what the number is there, but I imagine probably 85, 90, maybe close to 100% of the apps we use every day to get our jobs done is in a browser today. And so that's, depending on industry, that might change a little bit, but there's, the major platforms, collaboration, that all of that is all in the browser today. And again, becoming more and more so. And so that's, I've done a lot of work over the years in like end user experience space, right? And it's such a pain. I mean, you said something about like the difficulty of securing all that stuff. And if you're just trying to put the pieces together so that you have the security you need and it works on everybody's devices and everybody's happy, oh my goodness. I mean, it's a huge amount of work. So one of the things that really attracts me to like this solution like Chrome Enterprise Premium is that feature right there, right? Most of what I'm doing is in the browser. If I can do the security enforcement in the browser, well, then I solve so many different challenges, not the least of which is, what device are you on, Aaron? I don't care. Just bring your own device. Do what you got to do.
You're right. And as I was listening to you, Rocky, I think it's important also to note that while some technologies are less relevant today because of the way we work and how we work, like traditional VPN and those kinds of solutions, organizations that provide secure connectivity, third-party type organizations, we're a very partner-centric organization. We're a very partner-centric company at Google and Chrome. So it's also the advancements that identity providers have put into their solutions and the security that connects through browser and to desktops that has really enabled this additional workforce. And identity provide or these different workflows and remote work or work from anywhere on any device and be secure. The identity providers is one segment. We also work and connect very, very cloud to cloud type of solutions with SIMs and SOARs in the market as well. So, watching and being able to protect your employees and your data real time and being able to react to what's going on in your environment wherever the threat is coming from. It's an important piece of the puzzle here. Chrome Enterprise Premium allows you to, manage your mobile browsers and your browsers on your devices throughout the world. It also allows you to connect in those third-party systems, so you can bring your own identity provider, bring your own SIM, bring your own SOAR, bring your own XDR type platforms, and be able to extend that functionality out across the web without using legacy technology.
Yeah, and I think that's really key is because most of this stuff is moving to these modern interfaces that are web-based, we're bringing all this legacy baggage with us to that interaction. And that just creates more difficulty, more friction, more operational burden. I mean, just the number of tools it takes. That was always shocking to folks when we get in and start talking about, okay, what does your end user environment look like? What are the tools involved? Okay, what about the security elements? What about the experience elements? What about your monitoring? Da, da, da. And by the time you're done, every desktop, every laptop has 15, 20, 100 different tools that, you got to get to that user in order for them to do their job. And that's onerous, right? It's a big burden. And so if we can simplify that by just saying, hey, we know this works in the browser. We know we've got the telemetry we need to do the security things. And then we layer on additional features like copy paste protection and others, right? And then some of the stuff you guys are announcing around like Cameo, right? There's so much happening that we can handle now the legacy situations, but still run all this stuff through the browser. We can deliver things in the browser that make sure our policies are followed. And I think that gets even more important today in the advent of AI, right? Who doesn't use AI for their work? Well, if we can put some protections around what comes and goes inside that session, we're really kind of rounding out our security strategy for AI, along with some of the other things, Google and others are doing. And you mentioned partnerships, integrations into the identity platforms we're already using, integration into the endpoint solutions that we're already using, or replacing some of these things over time as we consolidate more and more into the browser. And that's really probably the big benefit here, right? Is that the more we put in the browser, the more the browser becomes the endpoint, and then I can secure that endpoint. I don't have to worry about all the rest of this stuff, right? So, yeah. really, really exciting stuff.
As you talk about the solution set, it just reminds me that in order to protect your end users and your data, you really need an end-to-end type solution, and it can't be all first party. It needs to also include third-party type solutions. And we talked about some of Chrome Enterprise Premium's feature sets with integrations with third party, so we can meet you, or the browser and your workforce can meet you with where your technology evolution is. We also, we have part of the Google Cloud platform itself. We have different solutions in house as well that you can leverage that work seamlessly with our Chrome Enterprise Premium and Chrome browser solutions, whether it be Google Workspace for enterprise or education with DLP type controls that we're talking about here, or classifications of data just happening. We offer solution stacks where we have an operating system or multiple operating systems, Android and ChromeOS, that work seamlessly through this management platform, so that wherever you are in your journey or whatever solution you're looking for, we want to offer that to you. That's what it means to be able to enable your workforce. And if you have third-party solutions you love and that's where it's at, and those are the ones you're at, we're partnering with those organizations so you get to choose and get to bring those platforms along with you.
Tell me a story about where you've seen Chrome Enterprise Premium really kind of solve some of those challenges for your customer.
One of the first customers that I met that said, "Hey, look, Aaron, we're looking for a solution. We're a Google customer, we're a Google shop, we use Google solutions. Obviously, we use third parties too, but provide me a solution." And this customer had gone through a little bit of a journey, and the journey started with Google Workspace for enterprise. They wanted a solution and a platform that could enable their workforce that was nimble, and so they were looking for solutions to enable their enterprise workflows from a productivity app perspective. As they worked through, I met this customer later on, and a different part of the organization, that was their cloud and enterprise applications team. I met this customer a little later, fast forward about a year, and they said, "Aaron, we need help deploying ChromeOS Flex to our existing hardware." So ChromeOS can actually get deployed out to existing hardware, so you can take those legacy type machines that you might have that aren't capable for moving to different operating systems. And ChromeOS is a lightweight, secure, out of the box solution. And with ChromeOS Flex, you can turn any device into a secure ChromeOS device. And this customer was doing that in the magnitude of thousands of machines. And so I was like, wow, this is going on. This is amazing. And then I met this customer again here at SADA, and they said, "Aaron, we're going down the solution stack. We really need to implement Chrome Enterprise Premium across our solution stack now too." So as I'm talking through these, there are many reasons why customers would want to go through this experience, and obviously this customer that I'm talking about has gone through a little bit of a journey. And one of the big reasons that I love working with SADA as an organization, and as an engineer myself working alongside of SADA engineers even today. Y'all support that customer both in their Google Cloud platform, their Google Workspace platform, their Chrome Enterprise Premium devices, and help them build out their enterprise management tools for their ChromeOS Flex devices. Now that customer has continued building out their workforce and their use of ChromeOS, and has run out of the legacy PCs, and so they've actually moved to Chromebooks now in Chrome boxes, and are continuing their path. So real world SADA customer. We'll keep your name private, but thank you for taking me on that journey.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that really you begin to see as engaged in these portfolios, right? So, okay, great, Workspace, or and again, none of that is a requirement for Chrome Enterprise Premium, which again was one of the reasons why I think this is one of those. Hey, any customer, regardless, if you can use nothing else from Google, you should be looking at Chrome Enterprise Premium, right? And then you mentioned this little tool, Chrome OS Flex. Think about things like Cameo, right? So, all right, we do have a legacy app. It doesn't run in the browser. How are we going to get that to our end users? Well, the traditional answer has been go get a VDI solution. Come back to us after you've spent lots of millions of dollars, and we'll talk, right? Maybe that's a good place too to talk about some of the security elements of this, where You mentioned copy paste control. We talked a little bit about access controls, but maybe dive in a little bit deeper there. One of the areas I know a lot of folks kind of forget about is browser extensions. And that's something that we've
Mhm.
seen, through Chrome Enterprise Premium, you get much more visibility into the extensions that are running and control over that. So maybe talk about that and kind of what that means from a customer
Mhm.
perspective.
Well, extensions and delivery extensions. Sometimes working with clients, they ask me, what applications are available for Chrome OS, and I have a little fun with that conversation because my response is usually billions, and there's extensions, there's the web itself, there's different web technologies, there's every website itself is in its own application. So it's an interesting question. And with Chrome browser, there's also this world of extensions that offers additional functionality specific to a specific applications. Now, from a security perspective, with additional functionality and features becomes kind of, there's a risk reward type relationship. So with Chrome Enterprise Premium, you're able to turn on advanced logging. You're able to capture those logs. You can use additional solutions like our Google SecOps to monitor what those extensions are doing and make real-time configuration changes. So Chrome Enterprise Premium there in the center and extension management, it helps you enable your workforce and also manage and monitor your risk through the admin console and through Google SecOps.
Again, it's one of those areas where you tend to forget those things that are even out there, until one of them is in the news. Then it's like, wait, do we have this extension running in our environment? And if we do, where is it? And you can see all that with some of the features that are in Chrome Enterprise Premium. But how is this different? How is Chrome Enterprise Premium different than just packaging up Chrome and sending it out to your users?
Well, as I mentioned before, Chrome is used by many people in the world, and with Chrome Enterprise Premium, that allows you to manage your Chrome browser deployments, whether it's extensions or how people log in, who can log in to Chrome browser, what data they can access, and there are some specific features with Chrome Enterprise Premium and our Chrome Enterprise Premium connectors that allow you to do things like monitor identity and access at the bit and the byte level of your applications, not at the cookie or session level. There's also additional features and functionalities that let you as an admin enforce things like malware protection controls. And with Chrome Enterprise Premium, you get advanced malware threat protections, so that you get protections against zero-day threats. You get your any downloads or uploads are being analyzed real time and blocked if there's an issue with them. So adding an additional layer to your end user compute stack of security to protect your data and your devices is there for you. There's also another really key, interesting piece of the puzzle. And what do I do with all this data? Where do I see it? With Chrome Enterprise Premium, you get security insights and reporting right in the Google Admin Console. And you get dashboards about what's going on, where your data is going, what individuals are doing what. And you also get a security and investigation tool so that you can go down, you can do things like review the individual hash of a file, for instance, that may be a blocked file because it didn't meet your security standards. So an example of security standards with Chrome Enterprise Premium is you can apply data protection controls and say, in this organization, I don't want to allow anyone to pass data that matches this type of expression to the web, either in or out. And that expression could be there are built-in expressions, could be things like social security numbers, driver's license numbers, passport numbers. For there's over 70 different built-in data protection rules, and you can also create your own custom extension or your own custom expression rules. So if your organization maybe has data classification policies and you mark your files with, corporate confidential or something along those lines, you can now parse all data going in and out of your browser for those data expressions and prevent that data leakage even before it happens.
Yeah, it's super important. And yeah, you can also build your own custom extensions. We have done that.
It's
But
true.
yeah, those expressions
Mm-hmm.
are super cool, and just being able to add your own filters. And, you know, again, that's another thing that's there. You may still want a third party tool at some point, or you may want to layer in some additional intelligence or whatever to do data classifications and whatnot. But just knowing that you can do that there in the browser where the session's happening again, simplify the security platform, simplify what the users are doing, simplify the operational burden of protecting our data, protecting our users from what's out there. Aaron, this is probably a good place to wrap it up. Been a good conversation, man, and I love that we got a chance to do this. So thanks for being willing to jump on here and go through all this and be peppered with questions. Appreciate it. And any final words for our audience?
No, just my pleasure again, Rocky. A thank you to the SADA and the Insight engineers that we work with every day. The work that you do for clients and the value that you bring to the market is very important and goes recognized. Hopefully I'll be able to join one of these again with you. I won't be able to say long time listener, first time caller. I'll be able to say long time listener, long time caller. Rocky, good to see you again.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you.
Welcome back to the show.
That's right.
Well, Aaron, again, thank you very much for joining us. Excited to just talk to customers about these things. Hopefully our listeners found this valuable and got better insight into what Chrome Enterprise Premium is. And some of the additional features and functions that, especially these new announcements like Cameo and others that are coming down the pike. So just excited to be working with you, Aaron. Again, thank you. And to everyone who tuned in, again, don't forget to like and subscribe, and look forward to seeing you on the next episode.